Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with today's guest, but guess what? We want to give a shout out to our sponsors. So take 3 minutes, listen to these shout outs. These are all companies that I used as an AD. They're all great companies. You should be using them too. All right, here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. You can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. You've heard me say many times before, probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Huddle. You know, as a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but as an AD, we were a Huddle school. Coaches, our student athletes, even our parents just loved the Huddle platform. Go to huddle.com, join the millions of users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. We also want to thank Home Campus. Scheduling, rosters, results, communication, your state association, facility management, athletic eligibility, and clearance. Home Campus does all of this and a lot more. Does it better, does it faster than the other platforms. Go to homecampus.com to find out more. And with all of our sponsors, make sure you mention you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Let's also say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Now, Wall of Fame has been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade, but their new content creation service, Beacon Creative, takes it to a whole new level. Their talented team of writers, designers, creators, they're going to come up with compelling narratives using your history, your coaches, your kids, that you can then share on social media. You don't have to lift a finger except post them. You really got to see it to believe it. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Click on Content Services. You're going to be glad you did. Let's also say thanks to Gipper. Gipper's the modern marketing platform that makes it easy for you to look like you're Division I, look like you're professional grade. Gipper's used and trusted by over 20,000 high school and college athletic programs. It's the #1 marketing app for schools. Part of that reason is the thousands of professionally designed templates that you can then customize in your colors, your brands, your logos. Create, share, and schedule all your social media content on one platform, and that platform is Gipper. Go to Gipper.com to get started. We also want to say thanks to Booster Hub, the #1 booster club software program. If you work with your boosters, you know that volunteer signups and volunteer changes can be a headache. Well, with Booster Hub, nothing falls through the cracks. Everybody stays engaged and connected. The same is true for sponsorship fees and concession sales. Booster Hub does it all. Give your boosters the platform they need. Give them the platform they deserve. And that platform is Booster Hub. We also want to say thanks to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but guess what? My assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others. And while they were earning their degree, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Let's also say thanks to Hometown. Hometown solutions include things like, well, digital ticketing, of course. They're the #1 digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. But how about athletic website construction, fee-free fundraising through School Funder? Whether you're an athletic director, a head coach, even a principal, Hometown is going to show you how to save time. They're going to show you how to raise more money, and they're going to show you how to bring your entire community together. You'll find it all at hometown.com. That's hometown.com. And finally, let's say thanks to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. In my school, we use surveys for just about everything, for our student athletes, for our coaches, even for our parents. And the information that came back on these surveys, incredibly valuable and almost always over the top positive. We still got to hear from our squeaky wheel parents, but the surveys allowed us to find out what their concerns were, typically address them before they turned into something big. But going back to that positive data, if you're meeting with a frustrated parent, you've got data to back it up. If you're meeting with your principal, if you're meeting with your school board, the survey gives you that data. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Let them create a custom survey just for you. It lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. It's athleticsurveys.com. And with all of our sponsors, make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We're staying right in Florida today, and we're going to be visiting with a coach. I ran across Matt Page this last track season. Had a chance to talk with him. Thought he'd be a great addition to our guest list. So Matt's the head cross country and track coach at Zephyrhills High School. That's right here in Florida. Also a teacher on campus. Has a cool background, a cool story, and we're excited to have him. Matthew Page, welcome to the Educational AD Podcast.
Thanks, Jake. I really appreciate you bringing me on. Basically, I grew up in Pasco County, East Side, and I went to Pasco High School. My coach, he really got me to love running. So did the middle school. But my coach had a really unique story, and he got me into actually what I teach to begin with as well. So he was a huge mentor. He just passed 2 years ago from brain cancer, and he has an amazing story. He enlisted into the British Royal Forces. He fought in the Falkland Islands War, and that's what got me into teach history and to end up coaching just like him. Really idolize him, and just an amazing person. Took his time with us. He's an amazing person. And the Pasco cross country and track coach, she actually was coached by him too. So we do a lot of partnership on our cross country meets when we host together. We actually started one together 3 years ago to start honoring him as a person. And then he passed away, unfortunately. But college, I went to Florida State University. I did not with them. I just went for pure education, but I did stick with running. I transferred over to running half marathons and marathons, and I created my own training program for myself. Pretty cool. It's the hills in Tallahassee will keep you on your toes.
Well, I want to jump into that in later segments. I'm going to go all the way back to you, growing up in Florida, back when you were a kid.
Yes, sir.
What was that like? Was it small town? Was it suburbs? What are some of those, even before you got into organized sports, what were some of the things you did around the neighborhood?
Over in Dade City, which is quite rural, me and my friends, we would just run around the neighborhood, ride our bikes. And then my dad would open up the door, yell my name, because my dad used to be a warden. So he had that carry of a voice that, all right, it's time to go to bed or go to eat. So it was kind of that rural lifestyle that everybody talks about in the 80s and 90s, that when those street lights come on, or if you hear your parents, all right, it's time to come home. Which is really, really nice compared to, technology taking over lifestyles. I will always remember that fondly.
Now, as you were climbing that ladder, middle school and high school, when did running, first appear on the horizon? That typically, I think runners, like in PE class, they make you run the mile or something, and hey, I'm pretty good at this. Was that how it was for you?
So I remember Coach Wade over at Pasco Middle School. I don't know if he's retired or not, but I remember him specifically saying, because I forgot to dress out. I left all my clothes at home in the washer and dryer. So I didn't want to lose the points on not working out. So I was in Levi jeans and I still ran the mile and I got first. And he's like, I'm gonna pull you aside. We think you should do track. Our county doesn't have cross country for middle school, but I think you should do track. You have, if you can do it in jeans and still beat everybody, you could do this. This will be easy for you. Um, so I did it, and my mom did it. My grandpa did cross country and track as well. I ended up loving it, and then continued on.
Again, runners are a different breed. I was, football, basketball as a track guy, but I was, sprints and hurdles and things like that. But my wife was a cross country runner, high school and college. And um, it's just a different mindset. They don't look at running, and I'm exaggerating here. They don't look at running as punishment. It's something that they're actually good at. When did you start to realize that, hey, I could be pretty good at this?
I want to say conference eighth grade year. I got third place in the 800, which isn't your typical cross country runner. They're typically more the mile. Um, but we had a couple milers already, and they were faster than me. But I really liked the 800 back in middle school. And then I want to say I had that feeling again my junior year. Um, that's when I finally broke 5 minutes and got into 4 minutes. I was like, oh my God, I can do this. But I also had a teammate where we consistently pushed each other. Um, it wasn't just I'm fighting my own time. I'm wanting to push my teammates wanting to push me. It wasn't about all the rest of the competition. It was me and my teammate, um, Kevin, and he actually went to FSU with me as well, but he also didn't run either.
Well, we'll get to FSU in a minute. Now, you've already talked about the tremendous influence that your coach had on you. Were you thinking at the time, you're still in high school, were you thinking, hey, I might want to be a coach someday, or did that come later?
No, I never thought I'd ever be a coach in high school. I actually didn't. Um, I actually wanted to go into politics, and I got my degree in political science in Spanish. And my coach, he's like, because I wanted to go in politics, he wanted me to be updated with history. So he brought me books. He introduced me to different topics, especially military history, because that's what he was a part of. So he curated um, interests that I would like. And he did that with the other kids too, but with differently, which was really, really cool.
Now, you went to Florida State,
It's,
and you mentioned that you didn't run competitively, but obviously you still stayed in running. You talked about those hills in Tallahassee, which I'm very familiar with. Um, um, what got you into running those longer distances, those marathons and half marathons that you mentioned?
so kind of to link it back to high school, we would go for our longer runs and we would do it at an easier pace so we can build up that mileage. And we would just talk and talk and talk and talk. And I just remember those being the best practices and the best time. And I was like, hmm, what if I tried out for a half marathon or marathon? Let's try out. So I signed up for the Tallahassee Marathon. I did some research, created a plan for myself, printed out a couple calendars, filled it out, and I just stuck to the plan and remembered the longer the distance at an easier pace, being a part of the workout, not every day is like that, but those were the most fond memories. And I wanted to have that feeling again. And I ended up having that feeling again, that I accomplished something significant. And every time I pushed past my mental limit of what mile I could go to was really deeply satisfying for me. And so that's why I moved on to the longer distances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually had a period, when I got out of college where I maybe for about 7, 8 years, I did several marathons and enjoyed it, but life and family and everything else got in the way of training for those. But still glad I had that experience. Let's go and take our first break. Once again, our guest today is Matt Page. He's the head cross country and track coach at Zephyrhills High School. That's right here in the great state of Florida. We're coming back with more, so please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Sideline Interactive Indoor Score Tables and Video Boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made as an athletic director was our Sideline Interactive Indoor Score Table. We use it for home games, of course, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. Their products are tremendously versatile, and their customer service is just outstanding. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, I'm telling you, all of our coaches just love the Huddle platform. Our student athletes love the videos, and our parents love the streaming, but there's a whole lot more. Go to huddle.com, join the millions of users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. And as with all of our sponsors, make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast. Once again, our guest is Matt Page. He's a teacher, he's a coach at Zephyrhills High School, and that's right here in Florida. Matt, you talked earlier about, you wanted to go into politics. So, you're at Florida State now. How did you end up on the education path?
So I did a couple internships while I was at FSU, and when I interned for then at that time Representative Danny Burgess, and then I did an internship at the College of Speech and Speech Therapy. And that internship was over in Gadsden County. One of the poorest counties in the state, mind you. We went in and we actually tested kids in English and Spanish on their comprehension of at the kindergarten level. And that was really, really cool. I did a couple other internships. I was a part of a program called Dance Marathon where we raised money for pediatric cancers that went to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And I just kind of, I guess I had an epiphany that I never realized, and subconsciously, I guess I did, that maybe I should go into the nonprofit sector or educational sector. So I ended up applying for a job at Department of Corrections in HR. Only stayed there for 6 months. Then I moved to Florida Commission on Offender Review as an investigator on civil rights and restoring that. I stayed there for about 4.5 years. Then I moved back down here, worked in the Tampa office for Florida Commission on a vendor review. Then I applied to be a teacher. It was, I don't know what happened, but I was like, maybe I should try this out. I've been told by a lot of friends and my family, you should go into education. My family is, you either go into corrections or you go into education. So I tried education because corrections was not for me. Um, and I saw there was a position open for cross country, and I applied, did the interview, and went really well. And I've loved it since. Like, honestly, I've never been happier. Like,
Now, I think you said you started out at Zephyrhills at the middle school level. Is that right?
yes, sir. Stewart Middle School. And I stayed there for 1 year. I taught eighth grade. I helped out the track coach during the spring season. Um, Shout out to Sherman. He is amazing. He's a great throws coach for middle school.
Now,
And
oh, go ahead.
oh, uh, and then I moved over to the high school and I started coaching track. Not my first year, but my second year teaching. So I have 1 year less experience compared to cross country.
Now, I was going to say, I got my start. I subbed for a couple of years, but then I got my first full time job was out of middle school. And I think people either love middle school or they hate middle school. I loved it. I thought it was great. You mentioned you left after 1 year. Did you enjoy your time at the middle school?
Actually, I really did, but I really liked the group of kids I was teaching, and I was like, I see a job open. Why not? Let's go. And I was already coaching at the high school for cross country. Might as well make it easy so I don't have to drive before practice right on over to the high school because it's about a mile and a half separation. It's not next door.
Was and we're going to talk about this in the next segment, but was the coaching part of the reason you wanted to move to the high school, or did that come after you were there as a teacher?
It was a part of the reason. It was just easier to keep up with the kids, get more kids on the team from the school. Because one thing I noticed was that majority of the team members on the cross country team were graduating. That's a huge problem. We want a good retention rate. We want a good freshman class coming in. And I taught that freshman class. They already know me. Why not? So it was more of it was going to help out the team, but also help my expand my knowledge and move on to teaching older grade levels.
No, and that's a great point. Now, we always talk about as athletic directors, we talk about the value of having our coaches, particularly our head coaches, on campus in the building, at the high school level. Um, was was that did your athletic director, mention that? Was that an attractive feature for them to, bring, let's get Coach Page over here on campus? Was that part of the discussion?
So the athletic director, my first year we went to states, which was super cool. I only brought one individual, but that was really cool. Um, I think it might have had something to do with the decision of hiring me over at the high school. Um, as my interview, I remember the assistant principal, well, when you come over here, I was like, wait, did I get the job? Okay. I guess I got the job. Um, uh, the assistant principal who hired me, she's now our principal, and I'll always be forever grateful for her. Um, I think that might have had a part in the decision making of he's the high school coach for cross country. We might as well hire him, make him on campus, make sure those kids aren't misbehaving, make sure their grades are on top of it. Because cross country kids tend to have the best grades um, compared to other sports. So let's make sure they're together.
Yeah, and again, I think it is something that administrators look at. How can we, make the school, the school culture, the school environment, obviously
Yeah.
athletics, the most efficient, the most productive, the best experience for our students, for our student athletes. So yeah, absolutely. Let's go and take another quick break. Our guest is Matt Page. He's the head cross country and track coach, also a teacher at Zephyrhills High School right here in Florida. We are coming back, so please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Home Campus for their support of the podcast. Home Campus uh, does a ton of stuff that's going to make your day easier. It's a platform you're going to use every single day. Things like scheduling, rosters, results of your contests. How about facility management? How about athletic eligibility and clearance? Home Campus does all of this and more and does it better and faster than the other platforms. To find out how it can help you, just go to homecampus.com. That's it, homecampus.com. We also want to say thank you to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Now, Wall of Fame has been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade, but their new content creation service takes it to a whole new level. Wall of Fame's talented team of writers and creators, they're going to take your school's history, your stories, your coaches, your kids, and create compelling narratives that you can then post on your school's social media, maybe even on a Wall of Fame video board. Go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and click on Content Services. You're going to be very glad you did. VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. And we want to say thank you to Gipper. Your athletic department is doing great stuff, and Gipper allows you to share that and look like your Division One program, look like you're pro. Gipper's used and trusted by over 20,000 high schools and colleges. It's the #1 rated app for athletic marketing, in part because of the thousands of templates that you can then customize with your colors, your logos, your brand. Create, share, and schedule all your social media content on one simple platform, and that platform is Gipper. Go to Gipper.com to get started, and don't forget to mention you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast. Matt, you've been sharing your journey, and that journey has brought you to Zephyrhills High School as the head cross country and track coach. Share with our listeners a little bit about the community, about the school, what's the enrollment. Talk about your teams, cross country and track, and how they've, grown under your leadership.
So Zephyrhills High School, yes, it is where the water bottle company comes from. The processing plant is 2 miles away from the high school. One of the cross country runs actually goes right next to it. We don't go too close because I'm sure that company would not like that. But honestly, the program last year for cross country is, I never expected the program to get that large. It was actually insane. I had almost I had 18 boys and I had 6 girls. And one of my girls, I'm just gonna name her Lydia. Lydia's an amazing runner. I've been with her since 7th grade, back when I was at the middle school, and she shattered all the records over at the middle school. And at the high school level, 3rd race, broke the school record. And any PR she has, automatic school record, and that's been amazing. We brought her to states every single year, so I'm hoping to bring her to states again. She's medaled every single year at states as well. She got 14th her first year. Her sophomore year, she got 5th, and then this past year she got 7th. So I'm super proud of her, which is also why I wanted to put myself through a couple more trainings to see what else could I do to improve myself. Because I'm not perfect, but I know I could do more. I could learn more. So I can bring her and push her to that edge to become state champion because she has it in her and she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing to work with. Um, my boys, this upcoming group that I have, the freshmen, they are amazing. They have everything what it takes to go to states. I really want to bring them to states, which is also why I wanted to learn more this year. Um, they actually, their freshman year, kicked all the juniors and seniors off of varsity, where they were the JV kids. And they held strong all the way through districts. I had a couple freshmen almost get into the 18 minutes, which was not expecting. That was not on our goal sheet. Um, it was really awesome. I'm really excited about this upcoming group because they're fresh, they're new, they're going to be sophomores, and any freshman that comes behind them will look up to them of like, we can do this. They say we can do this. Why not? And so I love that change in mentality. Um, so I'm super excited for this upcoming cross country season. Like anytime I talk about my team, like it just lights that fire in me and just makes me so excited. Because I'm out there running with them. Like I know what they can do. Um, and a lot of them have actually kept up with me and Lydia at practice, which has not happened since one of my kids 3 years ago graduated, Will Poe. He's now at UT and he's doing amazing at UT as well. He's one of their number one cross country runners. He's done steeplechase. He's broken a couple of records at their school already. So like, I'm super proud of him. It's yeah, I'm just proud of all my kids. Track wise, um, girls this past year we won districts and then we were runner up at regionals by a very slim margin. We became runner up by 2.5 points, um, which is really slim. If I mean you're track official, like you would know, like that's so slim, and anything could change that. So we're replanning and looking at how we can do better. And the boys this past year, the boys team, they did better than the previous year. And it's my first year being head coach for track. So I'm trying to tweak and change some certain things because coaching boys and coaching girls in track is completely different. Um, but girls, they're amazing. They're doing great. We finally have a throws coach. We finally have a pole vault coach. And so we have all of our different sections covered fully this past year, which was amazing. And our team just got stronger because of it. And so I'm proud of my co-coaches and my assistants. Um,
Um, let's go and talk some technique here,
yes, sir.
training philosophy. A long time ago in my career, I actually coached. I was the head cross country coach at a junior college, and hey, pat myself on the back. We actually did pretty good. We really turned the program around. Um, I was more of a minutes over miles. I wouldn't say run 10 miles. I'd say, run 60 minutes. And, the better athletes would cover more distance than let's say the beginning runners. Do you have any, philosophies that, are, let's say, foundational to how you train your runners? Is it all about big miles? Do you throw in, interval workouts? Give us the 2 minute version of Matthew Page's coaching Bible.
So I I do the minute philosophy once they have the core foundation. The introductory kids, I do big miles. They need to build up the mileage so they can handle the quicker minute pace. So I tell Lydia, all right, we're going to cover this distance. I need you to cover it in this amount of time. And my introductory kids who've never ran before, or my freshmen, I need you to cover this mileage. And I want you to take this specific route. And so when creating that core, I believe it's better to cover more mileage and then work on more speed when we move to minutes. So I agree with the point of the minutes over miles, and that's how we get better. However, for those who need the core foundation, they need a solid structure, kind of like a pyramid, where we start out large and then work our way to a final point.
We're going to do this at the end of the podcast, but let's do it now. If one of our listeners wants to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more about cross country track, or even teaching, or about Zephyrhills, what's the best way that our listeners can connect with Matthew Page?
So my school email is mpage, page Page, like paper, at pasco.k12.fl.us, and then our team account for Instagram and Twitter is ZHSXCTF.
Let's go and take another quick break. I know that's shocking to our regular listeners, but we are going to come back with more. So please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We'd also like to make sure we say thanks to Booster Hub, the #1 booster club software app. If you work with your booster club, you know that volunteer signups, volunteer changes can come at any time. Well, with Booster Hub, nothing falls through the cracks. Everybody stays connected and engaged. The same is true with sponsorship fees and concession sales. Booster Hub does it all. Give your boosters the platform they need. Give them the platform they deserve. And that platform is Booster Hub. Go to boosterhub.com to get started. We also want to say thank you to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but guess what? My assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others. And while they were earning their degrees, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We also want to say thanks to Hometown. Hometown's solutions include things like, digital ticketing, of course. They're still the #1 digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. But how about athletic website construction, fee-free fundraising through School Funder? The Hometown list goes on and on. Whether you're an athletic director, a head coach, even a principal, Hometown is going to show you how to save time. They're going to show you how to raise more money, and they're going to show you how to bring your entire community together. You're going to find out more at hometown.com. That's hometown.com. And please make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast. One more time, our guest is Matthew Page. He's the head cross country and track coach, also a teacher at Zephyrhills High School right here in Florida. Matt, you and I were talking during the break for a little bit. You've got a new project going on. Can you share a little bit about that with our listeners?
Yes, sir. Sorry, Jake. Parents ingrained CERT into my brain. So I actually just founded a AAU club, but we founded it as a nonprofit. And so our goal with all my track coaches and myself is to provide middle school cross country and indoor track to our community, but also to our high schoolers that we're coaching, indoor track and an extension of the outdoor season. So that's one side of our club, but the nonprofit side is coming from one of my parents actually brought the idea up to me because she has a bunch of contacts, and she's seen that our community has a need for it, where even if it's not even track or cross country athletes, but a lot of our athletes don't have the proper athletic wear, especially shoes, or soccer boots or cleats for football, that it's a necessity to be in the proper footwear or the kids break down. Um, I've had kids come out in basketball shoes for cross country, and I've had to reach out to our community outreach coordinator on campus. Hey, I need help. He's running 7, 8 miles in basketball shoes, and I don't want to break him. Can you help me? I need the assistance. So, and my parents saw that struggle the first couple years, and she's known me since I taught eighth grade at the middle school. So we came up with a plan, and we're actually going to double down on it this next year and start providing those resources to our community, because our community is a Title I area, and a lot of our kids sometimes they're having a job on top of sports, on top of academics. So providing that resource to our kids and our community will end up showing in dividends. So kind of giving back, but also providing more opportunities for cross country and track. And I'm hoping this project goes really, really well. So far, I've had a lot of interest. It's a little bit more difficult than coaching, but it's interesting and I like it.
Well, again, very admirable. What you're trying to do. Is there a way that our listeners, if they wanted to help out or find out more, how can they get involved to help you out?
So the email for the nonprofit is epzephyrs@gmail.com. So that stands for East Pasco Zephyrs. So we wanted to also include Pasco High community, because they are also a Title I area. Majority of East Pasco is East Pasco County. So, but yes, epzephyrs@gmail.com. And we're looking to sponsor with anybody and reaching out to anybody and doing partnerships.
Yeah. Well, again, very admirable. Thanks so much for doing that, and all the best moving forward.
Thank you.
Matt, this has been cool reconnecting with you. And again, for listeners, I met Matt at one of our district championship track meets this past spring. I had a chance to talk to him and thought he'd be a good guest, and he has. He's been a great guest. But we're not done yet. We always wrap up with the athletic director toolbox segment. Now, Matt's not an athletic director, but he's a leader, he's a head coach, and certainly knows his way around athletics. We're going to take our final break, hear from Athletic Surveys, who sponsored this segment. When we come back, I'm going to challenge Matt to send out a brand new, we can even say a brand new head coach on their first job. But I'm only going to let him put 3 tools in the toolbox. So let's take that break, and when we come back, we're going to see what Matt Page puts in his new leadership toolbox. We want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack for sponsoring the AD Toolbox segment. Now, at my school, we use surveys for just about everything. For our student athletes, for our coaches, we even used them for our parents. And here's the cool thing. The information that came back, almost always over the top positive. We still got to hear from our squeaky wheel parents, but the surveys allowed us to find out their concerns, usually address them before they turned into something big. But getting back to that positive data, incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with a frustrated parent, sometimes your principal, sometimes even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey just for your school. And it's truly going to let you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. And with them, as well as with all of our sponsors, please make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Well, it's that time of the podcast. We've been visiting today with Matt Page. He's the head cross country and track coach, also a teacher at Zephyrhills High School right here in Florida. Tremendous background for somebody starting out on his career in athletics. But right now, I'm going to task him with sending out a brand new coach, a brand new leader on their first job. But I'm only going to let him put 3 tools in their toolbox. So, Matt, what 3 tools are going to go into your new, let's say, leadership toolbox?
So, open, honest communication, but obviously with some boundaries. I've had a couple kids try to call me at 9 p.m. asking about random stuff. That's the boundary. Business is closed at 5 p.m., but open, honest communication. And that kind of builds off of the high relationship building with my parents, because I want them to be more involved. I want them to come cheer on their kids and cheer on their kids' best friends. And then also just talk to them while they're at the finish line, or talk to them while they're watching their kid. If I'm not on the other side of the track or in the middle of the woods. And then positive, open growth mindset. That's one of my favorite things. I love going to trainings and learning new, different things and seeing if that works for my kids and myself. So always be open to training and learning new things. I think that's one of the best advice that I have.
Well, I love them all. Again, we talk about, building relationships, whether it's with students, with other coaches, with your administration, with parents. You mentioned parents, again, foundational to success. Communication. There's so many different levels of communication that, we have to deal with, in the classroom as a teacher, out on the sports fields or the gyms, out in the community, open, honest communication. I had a basketball coach as an AD, and one of his favorite sayings is, "I'm always going to be honest with you. I'm always going to tell you the truth. You might not like it, but I'm going to tell you the truth." So again, that open communication. And then I love your turn of phrase, that growth mindset. Be flexible, be open to new ideas. It's so very important in becoming the best version of ourselves. Have that growth mindset. Very cool. Matt, thanks again for coming on the podcast, taking time out of your summer vacation, which you got some work rolled in there too to spend some time with our listeners. One more time, if one of our listeners wants to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more, what's the best way that they can connect with Matt Page?
The best way to connect is mpage@pasco.k12.fl.us, or you can contact me on Insta or Twitter on the team account ZHSCXCTF.
Well, again, thanks for coming on. Looking forward to seeing you this cross-country season out on a couple of courses and again during track. And we're going to have to get you back on the podcast down the road, get an update from the team and the program.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
For our listeners, we appreciate you tuning in. And just a reminder, we upload the Zoom recordings of every interview to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time.